All right. Hello. Welcome to our wellness webinar series for the month of June. Now, we decided to do something a little bit different this month, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
So that's why you can see our pretty faces. In the month of June this week, it is actually Men's Health Week. And so, what we thought would be really cool to do this week is I'm going to interview Jarrod.
Yeah. And this topic is relevant for everybody. I know we do a lot of things about women's health. We don't focus as much on men's health. So it's
That's
important
right.
because for each of us, there's a man or a woman in everybody's life, whether it's a mother, a father, a brother, a sister, whatever it is.
Yeah, that's right. So we thought it would be really cool to do something a little bit different this month. And Jarrod doesn't know
No,
what it is that I'm going to ask him, but
it's totally unscripted.
so we'll see what comes out of this. But we just thought it would be really cool for me to interview Jarrod all about health and his views, his opinion on it, and for you guys to have a little listen in on this. Are you ready?
Yeah, let's do it. Dive
Okay.
straight in. Dive straight
Let's
in.
dive straight in. So, okay, so it's Men's Health Week. And as you mentioned just before, you feel like there's always a lot of focus on, women's health. So, what do you think about, the topic of there actually being a week for men's health? And what does that mean for you?
Look, I think I've always been somebody who feels that everybody should be equal, no matter who you are. And yeah, we do talk about a lot of women's health issues and mentally, physically, all that sort of stuff. We put a lot of focus on it. We do raise a lot of money for it in the fitness industry and things like that. And that's good because I think for a long time we haven't done a lot of that.
Mm,
But things have to be, we want to make sure that we're talking about both people equally because at the end of the day, we're all one big happy family living here, really. And everybody needs to be able to feel like they are a part of that. And I think with guys a lot these days too, they're almost brought up feeling like maybe they shouldn't focus on their health. I'm not talking about your Instagram fitness people and all that rubbish and nonsense because that's not real. But I'm talking about the regular everyday people. There's not enough of a focus on allowing them to feel like their health is important, whether it's mental or physical. So yeah, so I think it's a good thing for us to be
mm.
able to discuss that.
It's funny you say that actually, because um, there's a lot of emphasis on that exact subject, but with women as well, and how they're, busy moms and they're
Yeah,
this and
absolutely.
that. And,
Everybody has something different.
yeah, that's it. But you are right in saying that men are typically the ones that work a little bit more in the traditional corporate world, isn't it? And yeah, would you say that it feels like men, or that there's not enough focus on men's health?
Yeah, look, I can say from working in the fitness industry for 11, 12 years now, I can count on one finger the amount of, I think, events or causes that I've been involved in that relate to men's health.
Mm,
But yet I can count on probably three, four hands the amount of times that we've done it for women's health. And those things are
yeah.
important. I'm not saying one shouldn't be not looked at,
Mm,
but we want to make sure that both things are there because I guess male and female, we have different stresses in our lives in different ways.
yeah.
Women, definitely, there's a lot of working, there's a lot of having to look after families, there's a lot of, all sorts of stuff that men don't always get involved in. But there's a lot of stress, I think, that goes on in a man's life that they don't necessarily talk about and that not everybody understands.
Mm,
And sometimes that's more mental than it is physical.
mm,
Like men tend to not have the same amount of physical health issues in regards to things like overweight and obesity. Yes, they definitely do. But less physical sometimes and more mental, but that
mm.
then takes its toll physically.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. So going on from that, then what would you say would that you would like to see in this type of industry in terms of men's mental health?
I think there would be, look, realistically, I think you need to do the same for everybody. There should be a focus on women's specific health and men's specific health, but realistically, it'd be great to be at a stage where it's just goddamn health
It's just health,
for
yeah.
everybody because these days I think both people share very similar workloads in a lot of societies these days. Of course you're going to get extremes in both and you're going to get people who don't do either, but as a society moving forward, we need to be focused on everybody's health as much as possible, physical, mental, because especially after the last 12 months, everybody's suffering in more or less the same way.
Yeah, definitely. I would love to know. I mean, obviously, I live with you, I work with you, so we spend a lot of time together, and I feel like I know you quite well. But at times, I also feel like I don't know you at all.
Yeah.
And there is this side of you that you do keep locked away a little bit, I guess. How would you say after, say, what happened last year? Because last year, I know, obviously, I lived with you, I worked with you. It was a really interesting year for us.
Yes, definitely.
In terms of having to, we'd only been living together for a few months, not that long, not even a year.
Almost a year.
When all of that stuff happened, right?
Yeah.
And our business was new together. And we sort of got thrust into this situation where all of a sudden we had to think about how we were going to survive, really, how we were going to do things.
Was going to have to change
differently.
To adapt.
Yeah. So I would love to know, because I don't actually think I've ever asked you this question before. How did you feel throughout last year? Because you've touched on mental health and how you don't think it's kind of talked about enough, especially with guys. Like, how did you cope with last year? Let's get really raw and real. And what was that like for you?
Yeah, I think last year, for the whole country and the whole world, last year brought mental health to the forefront more than it ever has been before. And it's funny because right now, in regards to what I do outside of Fit to Last, in regard to fitness, that mental health thing has now been brought to that's the reason. That's the reason why we're doing most of the things now. Even though the physical is still a thing, the mental health is really that. Whoa. But in regards to how what happened for me mentally last year, at the beginning, personally, you know what I'm like. I get very frustrated. I don't do authority very well.
Yes, I do know that.
So being told what I can and can't do was challenging for me, because my natural instinct is to go against all of that. That's just me as a person. And because my particular work outside of Fit to Last and what you and I do involves traveling. Involves being different cities, different towns every single weekend, running things physically with people, and that's what I do. And
so all of a sudden you found yourself
changed.
Like
I'm not
overnight in a situation where you can't do your normal work anymore.
Yep.
Not long after that, you were told that you have to stay inside. We can't travel more than 5 kilometers, wear a mask. Yep. And your life really just went like flipped a 180, right?
Yeah, really quickly. But then we learned to adapt really quickly. My workload, my work itself, I did the same thing, but I did it from the studio, which is the garage downstairs, which we've converted into a studio. And I learned to just do everything the same from there, which for me then made me realize, excuse me, okay, maybe I don't need to travel as much. Maybe I can not have to run myself ragged doing that. So that part of it for me mentally, I was fine with that.
How long did it take for you to have that understanding, like in your mind, like, oh, okay, well, this is how it is right now. Maybe I can learn to do things differently. Like, how long did that process take?
Not too long, really, because I'm someone who needs routine. That's me. I need routine. And if that's changed, I don't like it. I don't cope with it. I like to have that grounding. And I think all of us do in a sense. We like to have that security or that safety. So once I realized that the routine actually ended up being the same, it just changed format, it changed to online. I was fine with that part.
Okay.
Not leaving the house as well.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that because I'm very introverted and I'm happy just being at home. That didn't bother me.
Okay.
That bit I was totally fine with. There were other elements then that started, I think, to come into play with that too, as we learned to adapt and we learned to change everything that we did, which is kind of where we are now, really.
Yeah. So, I mean, you touched before on like mental health, and I'm just going to keep going down that road at the moment.
Do it.
So, okay, so after you established a new routine and you were at home and you just kind of accepted that this is the way it's going to be until we're told it's not anymore.
Yep.
What would you say between that place and now has happened for you in terms of mental health? Because in my opinion,
I find that harder.
Yeah, like in my opinion, from the outside, like being your partner, living with you, working with you, having a business with you, I feel like it's been like this. Not just for you, like for me.
I feel like it's been like this.
For me too. Like that was me doing a roller coaster.
No, mine's just the down.
So you're only doing the down.
Yes, that's how I felt.
So let's talk about that. Tell me about that.
I felt because I watch and I'm very perceptive of everything that goes on, not just where we are, but everywhere, because as you know, a lot of the things I do are more wider in scope than just right here and right now in front of us.
Right.
I mean, geographically, like I'm very
okay.
Like this. So I see everything that goes on everywhere.
Yep.
And do you want me to be 100% honest, or you want me to sort of censor this a little bit?
No, this is what we're here to do. You know, I think the more vulnerable and the more honest you are, the more relatable it is to people. Because I guarantee there'll be someone out there listening to this that can relate to this.
100%. And look, full disclaimer, if you work in this industry, and Amanda knows this, but if you're watching this, if you work in this industry where your job is to provide I guess a place where people can not only just physically get healthy, but mentally get healthy.
Yeah.
If you don't work in this industry, I don't think you realize how draining this is physically, emotionally, and mentally. And it's not just the times that, let's just talk about a group fitness class right now, just as an example. It's not the 60 minutes you're there. That 60 minutes, the workload for that 60 minutes is like this. It's huge. Right, the preparation, that everything that goes into it. And when your job is there to, especially right now, is to help get people back into a routine, to help get them back into a healthy state of mind and a healthy body, and you're committing yourself 100% to that, to them. You're not committing yourself to the activity, you're committing yourself to them at the end of the day. Because we do care a lot about the people that we have. And for me personally, and don't be offended by this, this is just my perception of this. Amanda's is very different than mine. I was really disappointed at the beginning at seeing a lot of places around the country where people just were like, oh my God, I'm so excited to be able to go back out and do this stuff and to reconnect and to get back into that. And for what I saw up here, it was not like that. It was very apathetic. It was very... maybe, not sure. And for me personally, at the beginning, I was like, really? Like, we're so excited to come out and do this with everybody and to get back into it and to reconnect with everybody. And there were some people who were just like ecstatic about it, which was great. But I saw in the local community here, it was very just...
It's interesting, isn't it?
Yeah, it hasn't, it's yeah, I found that very much a struggle, and we have tried so hard, and there's nothing to do with the business point of view. This is just us personally. It's tried so hard to be there for everybody emotionally, mentally, for them to be able to come and go, I need to just relax, to de-stress, and I don't think people understand that even outside of those classes or those activities, we get bombarded with questions night and day from people individually. Help me with this.
Yeah.
Can you help me with this? I need to know how to do this. I'm struggling with this.
Which, you know, isn't that
it's an around the clock thing. It's not a...
But isn't that such a gift that people trust us so much?
I love
that they reach out to us for help.
I totally love that people do that. And if we can help them, awesome, even better. The thing I've struggled with, I felt like we've been there so much for people, but I haven't felt it back.
Yeah.
I haven't felt it back from a lot of the community in general. I found it a really big struggle mentally. And every week I have struggled to go there and go, wow, out of all these people that used to love doing this with us or have asked us for help or whatever it is, we've been there every single time, but the response has been very lukewarm.
Yeah.
And that to me, putting into perspective my other job as a trainer, as a master trainer and things like that, and being able to travel around the country and just to be able to teach classes of, you know, anywhere from 50 to 100 people and to train people who are just so grateful and so excited to reconnect, and then to come back and be like, people are, tired today, a bit busy, it's a bit cold, has really, for me, mentally been just a absolute drain. Because we work around the clock, by the way, physically, mentally. Like today, my body's a Monday. I just got back from Sydney. Physically, I'm exhausted. My body is absolutely just, and my brain as well is the same thing. My downtime has been on the plane. That's it. Because when we go to these things on a weekend, Amanda knows because she's done it too. You do your 8-hour training sessions, you end up with classes after that. You're constantly connecting with people because everybody wants to be able to interact with you. So you don't switch off until you get back to a hotel at like 11 o'clock at night, something like that. And you get up and you do it again. And you race to the airport, and then you get on that plane and you get back here at like ridiculous hours of the night. And then you get up and you do it all again. You do PT sessions and you do other things. So for us to be there for people we love it. Don't get us wrong. We love it. But it's a lot. Like it's a lot for us to commit to. And we love doing it for that reason. And I've talked to a lot of people in the fitness community about this too. And they've felt the same thing from a lot of people. It hasn't been reciprocated. It's almost like, please don't take this the wrong way, it's almost like we're just needed when people want us, without that reciprocation, because we need it from you guys as much as I guess they need it from us. Really. And you know what happened the other week when we did classes?
Okay, if we're going to be really raw and honest, let's go there. Tell me about that, because I think this is really relevant to what you're saying right now.
This is from my mental state.
This was solely related to your mental health, wasn't it?
Yes, 100%.
And it wasn't, I'm going to let you tell the story, but it wasn't just that one night or that one event.
It was a huge build-up.
It was a build-up from pretty much July last year, since we've been open for business again, right? And so
just constantly being there and giving 100% every single time.
Would you say?
Which I love, by the way. This is what I do. I don't do half. I do.
You're human, right? You're human. Would you say, you know how I gave the analogy before? For me, it's been like a roller coaster, up, down, up, down. For you, you felt like you're just on the down.
Except for when I go away.
Correct me if I'm wrong, and I'm going to let you tell the story. But was this like the roller coaster just came to a halt?
It's like a derailed.
It derailed, right?
It was like Final Destination.
Okay, and tell the story. Tell me the story, and tell me the thought process that you went through, and how this has affected your mental health. Yeah,
I've just been so disheartened by the lack of engagement, the lack of. For me, as I said, I used that word before, apathy, because that's just what it felt like for me. It was just like, I'm just trying my best to be there and to provide them with all of this, but the response, and this is just how I perceive it. This is not necessarily reality for people. Everybody's got things to do and stories and all the rest of it. But for me, it felt like, wow, there's nothing. There's no support. There's no engagement. There's no.
So what happened?
Community. And it got to a point where, and I've said it many times, it's like, that's it. I'm done. I'm not doing it anymore. You can deal with it. I got other things to do. I need to stop for me. And it happened not long ago at classes where I actually did that. I left you on stage.
Yeah, you did.
And I went and I just stood in the bathroom and I just stood there. I was like, I don't even want to come out. I'm just going to stay right here. And that was how I felt.
Yeah.
And then to have to come back out and be all like, yeah, hey, awesome, let's do this. All the stuff. It is very, very hard.
Yeah, I remember that really clearly. I knew without you even saying anything exactly what was going on. And I knew at that point in time, I just had to hold that space in the room so you could go and do that. And, that's one thing I'm really grateful for is in working together is that
you have that.
Well, not everything's perfect, right? We're all human. We all feel, and you and I think, are such givers. Like we give, and often we forget how to fill our own cups up. And I think in that moment that you were more than empty, and I knew exactly what was happening. And so it was my turn to hold space. for you. And so you were standing in the bathroom. I'm guessing you were probably looking in the mirror
No, I
going,
was just standing. My brain was just off.
So what was it that made you come out of the bathroom
My
and come back
obligation
into the room?
My obligation to people who took the time to be there. And because that's just always how I feel with things. If there's a job to do, you do it.
Yeah.
That's how I've always been with that kind of stuff.
So what was the process you went through mentally in that moment? Because you had two choices there. You could either leave and go home or not. What was the process you went through in that very moment mentally?
That was it. I was done. I didn't want to come out. Wasn't interested. I was like, look, I can't give any more to everybody with this because I'm not getting it back. So I can't give any more. And I think people just really forget that with all the people who do this job, whether they be coaches, whether they be fitness people, whether they be personal trainers, whether they be whatever the hell it is. We need it as much as they need it at the end of the day, because it is a job where you have to give and give and give and give and give and give and give.
Yeah.
And it's hard to feel like you're underappreciated, or that you're only there when people just feel like they need you. And anytime other than that, it's like, So yeah, if there would have been a window I could have climbed out, I probably would have done that.
Yeah, I reckon that's probably the truth, actually.
Honestly, but I thought, no, look, this is my responsibility. That's how I always am with that stuff. This is my responsibility. Just do it. Yeah. And you know what it's like. You've been on trips with me and we've worked together like this before, where it's just, you are 100% just, you're done. But there's still
something else to do.
Something you do. So that's what you got to do. You got to do it. You got to be there for people. And that's why we do this job, is because we do want to be there for people and we do want to help people as much as possible. So at the end of the day.
So I love that. I love that you have that real work ethic, and that no matter what's going on for you, you have that sense of responsibility and you'll keep going.
Well, if you say you're going to do it, you do it.
Yeah. I want to come back to this, to this story in a moment. Mm-hmm. And no, actually, I'm going to go there now and then I'll ask my next question. So, okay. So we get through the night, right? We're just going to paint a picture for everyone who's listening. We get through the night, we get home. I remember the feeling that I had when I got home, but talk to me about what was mentally happening for you, after that. So that night, the day after, because obviously the day after that I left and went to a conference.
One day after that, I flew to Sydney.
Yep, that's it. And so tell me about mentally what was going on for you in that 24 hours afterwards, because the day after that, I got some pretty awesome text messages from you. So there was a mindset shift that happened for you.
Yeah, the next day I want to be left alone. I don't want anybody to come near me. I just need to be left alone.
Yeah.
And it's rare in this job that there's ever a time where you are actually left alone from any point of view. And I think what shifted after that is I flew to Sydney and I was around people like, wow, I'm so happy you're here. I'm really excited to do this with you. We're so grateful that you've been able to take the time to travel here and all that. And you feel like, okay, I'm actually being appreciated for what I do and the amount of effort that we put in to do all of that.
Yeah.
And that was really great to see. People who you could tell they wanted to be there. They were so happy to do it. They were, and that's re-energizing. That's a good feeling.
Yeah.
And I think people who see you every day, it's like that complacency we all get. You just forget that that's a thing for people.
Yeah.
And it's the same for all of us. Everybody likes to feel appreciated or like they're doing a good job. And this is different than standing behind a counter and just going, here you go, thank you.
Yeah, yeah.
This is a totally different thing.
Well, it's one of the basic human needs, isn't it? We all need to feel loved and valued in whatever capacity that it is, whether it's family or friends or your work that you do, or it's a basic human need.
Yeah.
Yeah. So what was the mindset shift that you had? Because you went from being like, I'm done, I'm out, I want to be left alone, in a real low, to, I remember sitting in the conference that I was in and I got a series of text messages from you that were like a total shift in attitude. What happened?
I think it was just because of that. Knowing that I was about to go somewhere where I knew people were excited to be there. I had classes that were sold out that people wanted to go to and couldn't wait to do those things with you and really valued what you did.
Okay.
And for me, it was just that. It was that feeling of, you know, we really appreciate what you're trying to do for us. Just the same as we appreciate when people take the time to come out.
Yeah, totally.
Or to listen to your advice, and we love to see people succeed. And I think also the hard thing too is getting back to the whole men's health thing, is that as a guy, people don't ask you about any of that sort of stuff. People don't even bother to take the time to ask you
how you are, or
no, how are you feeling? Are you okay? Is there anything going on? Any of that sort of stuff. They just do not. It's not even a topic people bother to bring up with you, because they just you have to be. That's just how you operate.
Do you find that that's more relevant for you because you're the guy that shows up with the smile and the energy all the time, so you're on the outside totally okay? Why would someone ask you how you are?
But I've seen, it's funny because when I work with both male and female in this industry, and it's funny that when anything happens with one of the ladies that you work with, people say, "Are you okay? Is everything all right? Like, you sure you're all right with that?" Happens to you as a guy, people are like, "Okay, keep going."
Really?
Yeah, it's not even a consideration that people would even.
Yeah.
Like, let's say, for example, you tripped and fell over while you were doing your job. People just go, "You okay? Okay, good." Somebody else, they always run up like, "Hey, are you okay? Do you need me to get you anything? You know, let's get some ice. Let's do this." It's like, it just doesn't happen as a guy, mentally and physically sometimes. And I've seen it a lot over the years, and people just don't.
Is that something that you would love to see a shift in?
I just think everybody should be treated equal. Doesn't matter who you are.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
For what it is. I mean, I don't want to get into the whole gender equality thing because I really don't care about that debate. I just think everybody should be the same. It doesn't really bother me.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should be treating everybody exactly the same. Everybody is the same mentally.
Yeah.
At the end of the day, we're all people.
Yeah.
And what affects one often affects the other.
Yeah, definitely.
Just that one may not show it as much.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know what? It can be the same for women too. Definitely. I totally agree with you there. So
that's true. That's very true.
So I would love to know then around, you've mentioned a lot about like how you feel energized by receiving energy from other people, receiving things like validation and you know, acceptance.
And this is not a pat on the back. Oh my God, you're so amazing.
No.
That's not what we're talking about here.
I know that. I know that you feel that. I would love to know because
you know me, I shy away from that sort of stuff.
Yeah, you do. I would love.
That makes me very uncomfortable.
I would love to ask you. I'd love to know your opinion on what it is that you think you or men could do in order to receive that feeling, but from themselves, if you get what I'm trying to say, because we can't always seek that from other people. We've got to find a way to be able to move through our challenges ourselves.
It's hard because we've gone through such a period where there has been such a focus on women and empowering women, which is what there should have been, because long before that, things weren't really the same. But there's never been the same to guys. Guys have just been expected to figure it out. Go do your thing. Like, so for example, what you did on the weekend.
Yeah.
There is no equivalent to that on the other side of the fence.
Well, I think
there isn't. It's either mixed or it's one.
I think there is, but it's certainly not as talked about or as popular.
Or as openly able to be celebrated either.
Yeah.
Because I find that if you're a guy and you're like celebrating the fact that you're a guy or anything like that, you're told to hang on, like, you shouldn't be doing that. That's wrong. You're a guy. You've got everything. So it's not true. Everybody's different.
So what would you say then you would like to see for yourself and for men around mental health? What kind of shifts do you think you would be open to seeing that would help you with your mental health?
I think for men to be able to be open about talking about it that's something that's not going to happen overnight. That's a whole cultural shift.
Yeah.
That's a whole different ballgame now.
Are there specific people that you would love to be able to talk to, or is it more that you just want it to be a subject that's more talked about?
I think it should always work both ways with someone. If as a woman you're feeling it, you should ask your partner or your friend or your husband or your father or whoever it is the same thing that you would like to be asked, or the same, they're experiencing the exact same things as each other.
Yeah.
That doesn't change.
Yeah.
So I think we all need to be very open to, yes, there's men and women, but at the end of the day, take all that nonsense away, you're still people.
Yeah.
And everybody feels the exact same thing.
Yeah. So having more conversation around just asking people how they are.
Across the board will definitely help, because I think men find it easier when it's just a general thing, not necessarily a male specific thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, if that makes any sense.
Yeah, it does. I mean, it's your opinion at the end of the day. And I guess if things are...
You don't need another man to ask you. It's got nothing to do with that.
No, it's just the fact that you're being asked.
People in general. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay, that makes sense.
Or to not just assume that because someone is a guy that automatically they're always fine.
Yeah. Yeah, I love that. For sure.
I guess.
For sure. I think that's really important. In terms of because obviously there's lots of different types of health, right?
Yes.
We've touched a lot on mental health, which, by the way, this was totally unscripted. I didn't know it was going to go here. But if we look at the flip side of that with physical health, I know that you've had quite a roller coaster journey with your physical health. You've been fit, you've been, I'm going to say it, you've been fat, you've been fit again, you've felt unfit. Tell me a little bit about how you manage your physical health, how that's kind of related to your mental health. Because I know for you that those two go really hand in hand. Why do you look after your physical health, and what does that mean to you as a guy?
Physical health, a couple of reasons, because it comes with a job, and I feel like you have to be a role model to some degree.
Okay.
You have to be able to walk the walk, talk the talk, all the things. If you're going to lead people, because people are led by, I guess they need to be inspired by someone who can show them what the journey is like.
Yeah. And I don't think that matters whether you're a fitness presenter or you're a corporate lawyer or you're a tradesman, right?
You have to know your stuff, basically, at the end of the day. And for us, if we're talking about physical health, you have to represent. It doesn't mean you have to look like the fake Instagram people, but you have to be able to represent it to some degree. A healthy body doesn't mean just means a healthy body. You need to represent that. So that comes with a job.
Yeah.
The other thing is, yes, it makes you feel better. Yes, it allows you to do things that you can't normally do. It allows you, is that
how it makes you feel?
It allows you to do things that you should be able to do.
Is that how it makes you feel when you train your body?
Yeah, my body has no restrictions in what it can or can't do.
Yeah.
I don't think, I can't climb up onto that because I can't move my leg that high, or I can't roll over and do this, or I can't crawl through here, or I can't do. There's nothing in particular in my life that I have to struggle with, but it's because I've tried to maintain an overall level of health. Plus, I want to be physically healthy. I want to be physically fit because I personally just enjoy that. I like that. And it does make you feel better overall.
Yeah.
It gives you a bit more confidence. And I'm not a super confident person at the best of times.
Yeah.
So that, for me at least, helps me to feel a little bit more comfortable out in public and things like that as well.
Yeah.
That's just a me thing. That's not a general thing.
Yeah. That makes sense though.
Yeah.
And I'm going to wrap this up soon, but in terms of, because I know that you've said to me, again, I live with you, I talk to you every day. I know that you found it a little bit more challenging or just different, like last year when we went into COVID, in terms of your training and stuff. What did you find? Because you said before that you're a routine person.
Yes.
What did you find you needed to pivot and
routine.
change for you?
For me, I found the biggest change in my routine was actually moving here to Brisbane, because I had a different routine, obviously, where I was before.
Right.
So that was a bigger change for me.
Than COVID.
Yeah, COVID wasn't a big change for me at all in that respect, because realistically, we had all day, every day to do whatever we wanted to. And our class times stayed mostly the same. We just changed how they were done. So that
Yeah.
that bit was fine. But then, yes, came the motivation to do things for you, which is a little different. I think both of us didn't really do as much as we should have for us physically compared to what we would normally do. Because full disclosure, obviously our classes are not for us, they're for you guys. So,
which is interesting, isn't it? Because we actually tripled our workload during COVID.
yeah, but we didn't do things for us. We
but
tripled our workload.
We were still physically
yes,
like
but
7 days a
else.
week. Yeah.
That's not the same thing as doing things that are specific to you or what your body needs.
Yeah. That's it.
So we didn't do as much for us.
Yeah.
We did it more for everybody else.
So in what ways do you love to train the most? How do you like to look after your body?
You mean physically?
Yep.
Not so much with the eating. I like to do exactly the kind of stuff we do in Hustle and in Strong.
What's that? If
that's
someone,
my kind of training. So
if someone who's listening right now didn't know what Strong or Hustle is,
lots of training with your body weight. I like to do things that have huge ranges of movement to help with your mobility, so that you're not stuck in one position. Lots of flexibility movements, lots of strength and power movements. So being able to move fast, really strong. I'm not as big of a fan of weights personally. Yes, they are good, but at the end of the day, I like to be able to move. I'm more athletic than I am, wanting to bench press a car or anything like that.
Yeah. Do you prefer inside or outside type training? Doesn't matter.
I don't care.
Yeah.
I really don't care. I mean, outside is always fun. It's nice.
Yep.
And I like to improvise when I see things.
Okay. And why do you love to train that way as opposed to being in a gym for 2 hours lifting weights, doing bicep curls and bench presses?
I hate gyms.
Why is that?
I don't like,
because there are a lot of guys who love going to the gym.
Yeah, they do. And I think, no disrespect if you go to a gym, I work in a lot of gyms doing my stuff on the weekends. I'm not a fan of the mentality of the gym. I don't care that people go to show off, and I don't care about what everybody looks like, and I don't care. I like to just do what I need to do, but I like training with people. I like running a group of people and doing that and helping them and challenging them, because it also pushes me. I prefer that personally than going to a gym. Gyms just I don't get excited by that. I get very mentally bored, which is why I like to do the other stuff, because I find just doing X amount of reps of something and then doing this and then doing that, for me personally, mentally is very, and if I'm not engaged here, like I've almost got ADD, I think, with this, but yeah.
I would have to agree with that.
I need to be mentally engaged. If I'm not, I'm bored. I'm not interested anymore.
Yeah. So to wrap up, if there was a guy out there listening to this and thinking,
do you have anyone in mind? You're just a guy?
I don't actually. Maybe
it's a guy out there listening,
someone's husband or someone's brother or a guy who follows us or anything like that, who, maybe hasn't been taking care of their physical or their mental health, and they're starting to really feel the effects physically and mentally. What would be your top 3 tips to any man out there listening that has no idea where to start improving their health?
Okay. So I might give you more than 3, probably. If you've never started, reach out for help. Don't do this on your own, because unless you know what you're doing, it's not helpful. Reach out for help to somebody to guide you a little bit. That is why there is such a massive community of fitness in Australia, because people need help. If we could all do this ourselves, we would all be doing this ourselves.
Yeah. Where would you suggest someone reaches out?
Well, our email address is listed below, right?
So us.
Us, or someone who knows what they're doing, a professional. It's like saying, okay, I have this medical condition. Don't Google it. Go to a damn GP. It's the same thing. Go and find someone who can help you, guide you on that journey a little bit. Doesn't have to be for your whole life, but get you started somewhere.
Yep.
So reach out for the help. Start to create a routine. You're going to hear that word from us all the time, because routine is everything in regards to fitness, because health mentally or physically has to be lifestyle driven. It can't be reliant on your willpower, because if you rely on your willpower, you'll do a couple of days and that'll be it. You're not going to be motivated every day. You've got to create a routine. That's one of the things you need. And then if you're talking about physical health, train in a way that actually something you enjoy. Don't do what you feel you've been told you have to do. Like, I'm a guy, I have to go to the gym or I have to lift weights. You don't have to do any damn thing you don't want to. If you enjoy, dance classes, great, do that. If you enjoy weights, go and do that. If you enjoy functional training like what I do, do that. Doesn't matter. Everybody's different. You're all going to have different ideas, but there is no right or wrong way that you have to do something.
Why do you think it's important that someone should find something that they enjoy?
Because if you don't love it, you can't stick with it. If you hate it, it's having a job you hate, and you get up every day and you resent it. And the only reason you go there is because you want the security blanket of the money. But if it was a choice every day, will you go to work or won't you go to work? 9 times out of 10, if you go, tomorrow.
Yeah.
I'll do it tomorrow.
Yeah. So finding something that's enjoyable is something.
It's okay to have little bits that you don't enjoy. That's okay, because there's always something. It's like having food. Sometimes there are things we know that we need to have. We don't always love them as much, but we may have a little bit less. That's okay too. It's okay to do a couple of things you don't love, but you know are good for you and you're helping you to see results with it. But do things that you enjoy and don't just stick to one thing, because one thing is no good. You can't run every day. You can't do weights every day. You have to do something different all the time.
Cool. I love that. Good tips, by the way. Okay, that was 4 of them. Cool. Is there anything else that you'd like to add before we wrap that up? That was a pretty good chat, actually. No? Okay.
No, I'm pretty good. As you can see, if I'm not asked the question, I'm not very talkative.
If you are, someone who is listening to this video or as an audio today, thank you so much for tuning in. We'd love to know if, what your takeaways are from this. If you had any little epiphany moments, I'm sure that whether you're a woman or a man, there was something in there that was probably relatable.
There's a lot of stuff there that does apply to everybody. Really, at the end of the day, mental health is the same. Absolutely.
And we're really stoked to be putting a real focus this week on men's health and for the whole of Men's Health Week. So thank you guys so much for tuning in. If you've got anything that you want to let us know, drop it in the comments below and we'll make sure that we reply to you.
Or send us an email or whatever you need to do.
For sure. Catch you later.